Profits. Right now, you can save 20% off TruckStop Load Board Pro for 6 months. The best tool for serious carriers. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to get 20% off Load Board Pro for 6 months. Need capital to grow your business or cover unexpected expenses? Rock Financial has your back. Whether you're looking for a flexible line of credit, a fast cash advance, or tailored working capital solutions, Rock Financial makes it simple to get funded, often in as little as 24 hours. No hidden fees, an easy application, and real support from people who know the business. Ready to take your hustle to the next level? Tap the link in the description to get started with Rock Financial today. Wish insurance was this easy? With LogRock, it's like magic. Real coverage appears when you need it. No tricks. Get covered now. Click the link in the description.
Warning: the following content contains strong language and may not be suitable for children. This content is primarily for adults, as this is a trucking channel and truckers have filthy mouths. Please don't tweak if I say. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up? Good afternoon. Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Turn on all post notifications. How is everybody doing this afternoon, this pre-Juneteenth? Today is June 18th. Tomorrow is Juneteenth. Pre-Juneteenth. How's everybody doing? Come on in. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to King ATL in the building. Shout out to William Vega. What's going on? Shout out to Elias. What's going on? What else we got? We got Thomas Fowler representing Alabama. Paul representing New Jersey. Shout out to Craig Freeman. Shout out to everybody that's a part of the MGM gang. Shout out to Ty. Ty said, where you been? You think I don't got a life? You think y'all be thinking like YouTube is like my life, bro? I do YouTube for recreation and to keep my brain sharp, right? Because I always got to stay on point. You dig what I'm saying? But I got a life, bro. I got a life. What you think, Mark? Mark didn't kick it for Father's Day weekend? Oh, Mark, you ain't no dad. Nigga, I'm still, nigga, I didn't took care of a lot of y'all kids. And so, listen, I done did a lot for a lot of kids. You dig what I'm saying? I done took care, listen. Big Mark done, listen. When you was struggling, she called Big Daddy. I'm just listen. Big Mark been kicking it, big dog. I've been kicking it, bro. I've been kicking it, bro. Shout out to Paul Smith. Shout out to Paul. Hey, Ty, chill out, big dog. Chill out. Be cool before I say something. Be cool. It's too early in the live stream. We ain't gotta go there, big dog. We ain't gotta go there. Shout out to Paul Smith. Paul Smith said, what's been going on with the lives? Man, I just been kicking it, man. Been busy, but I really ain't been consistent with the live since I think February is kind of when I just toned it down a little bit. But I've been trying to pick it back up, but it's just, I just ain't feeling it, big dog. I ain't feeling it. I ain't finna hold you. I ain't finna sit up here and lie to you. I just ain't really been feeling it. I've been trying to get back into the habit, but the past week or so, I just was kicking it. So shout out to Sharks World. Shout out to Shark Light Ventures. You just watched episode 3. Appreciate you. You always dropping some classics that do or die. Oh, you watched that episode where I was debating Ty, actually. Yeah, Ty talking about Drake, the best artist, and I had to school him on Michael Jackson, and I had to debate him. It's all good, though. It's all good in the hood. Shout out to CD. CD said, music with a message for a channel match. Appreciate that. Yeah, so in honor of Juneteenth, I said about 2 weeks ago, I said all my intro music for the remainder of the month is going to be positive music. I actually was having this discussion in the Discord a couple of weeks ago with Pippi, and we were talking about, you know, I forgot how the conversation started, but I remember saying in that discussion that the reason that a lot of the kids do a lot of the stuff that they do today is one because of influence, which is what we're going to talk about today, and it's influence of what they see and what they hear in media, whether it be movies, television shows, and music. And I was telling her that I remember growing up in the late 80s and the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, there was a time period where music, black music, was positive. Like there was black music that was top 40 music. The way you hear like a Drake Hotline Bling get played on the hour every hour, you know what I'm saying? Whenever that song came out, I'm just using that song for an example because it was played so often. There was a time period in the late 80s going into the early 90s where black music was getting played in heavy rotation, but it had a positive message. There was a time period when Fight the Power came out, for those that are old enough to remember, that was 89, and that was on the Do the Right Thing soundtrack, and Do the Right Thing was a powerful movie. I think it was Sharon Stone, when she got her Oscar that year, uh she spoke up for Spike Lee, saying that that was the movie. It wasn't even nominated. It was a very powerful black movie, but the music was very, very positive. You had like music like Fight the Power. You had, even with Queen Latifah, you had UNITY, UNITY stands for unity. That song was getting heavy rotation. And today, a song you're going to hear that's getting heavy rotation by a black woman is going to be a complete opposite. You're going to hear real ass bitch give a fuck about a nigga, big Birkin bag, hold 5-6 figures, stripes on my ass, so they call this pussy Tigger. That's what's getting played on the radio versus back then, UNITY. Who you calling a bitch? You see what I'm saying? So it was more positivity. You saw people wearing the kente cloth. You saw people wearing the Malcolm X hats, and then we had the Air Raids. Nike came out with the Air Raids with the X, right around the time the Malcolm X movie came out, and everybody was wearing, black shit. We was wearing the 3/4 length uh 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 historically black college 3/4 length team jackets, the Grambling States, the Jackson States, with the pouch in the front, similar to like the starter coats, but there was a whole line where we wore the 3/4 length historically black college university team jacket. You had Arrested Development, I Am Everyday People. This song got played like 40 Going North, Self Destruction. I was talking about Tevin Campbell, I Hope Tomorrow Will Bring. We sung that at graduation. And these songs were top 40 songs that were getting heavy rotation. A positive song would never get heavy rotation in today's climate because it won't make any money, and Death and Destruction is purposely being pushed on us because they control people, especially the youth, by what they see and by what they hear. So I said for the rest of the month, since it's Juneteenth, I'm going to play positive black music from that time period when I grew up. And a lot of young cats ain't gonna like it. They gonna think it's whack. But at that time period, positive black music is what was popular, and it got just as much rotation as some of the Death and Destruction music that you hear today. And the Death and Destruction music is cool. I listen to it too. I listen to drill music, but you have to decipher real from entertainment, and you have to be able to know the shit that you see and the shit that you hear. You don't have to go out there and mimic it because it ultimately makes you a follower. And we're going to talk about that today with this TikTok shit. And yeah, from the rest of the month, I'm not going to disrespect Juneteenth. I'm going to play all positive, intro music. And the funny thing about Juneteenth, I remember as a kid asking my mom, because I would see, St. Patrick's Day come around. I would see, Mexican independence. You see the Hispanic Mexican people. They would ride. They still do ride around with their flags out the window. What is that? Cinco de Mayo's in May, and then they'll do it again in September, I think, for like Mexican independence. I remember the Puerto Rican Day Parade. back when I was a kid going down North Avenue, um, and just different, ethnic cultures would have these specific days. And I remember asking my OG, I can't remember, I think I was a teenager. I said, well, how come we ain't got no day? I said, other than Black History Month, why we ain't got no specific day? And she said, we do got a day. I said, well, what is it? She said, it's Juneteenth. It's in June. I said, June, what? I can't remember how old I was. I think I was a teenager. And I saw it on the calendar, but it was like not something that was celebrated. It took until, goddamn it, George Floyd to get killed for Black people to start. Well, I would say a combination between George Floyd getting killed and just the pandemic and not having nothing to do, right? And that kind of coincided with people learning their history and starting to celebrate Juneteenth, and people have been able to keep it up thus forward. And I guess it took for George Floyd to sacrifice, or not sacrifice, it took his life to get taken for us as a whole to recognize this day and celebrate it. And it was strong initially that first year until the government decided to make it I believe it's a federal holiday. I know it's a holiday here in the state of Illinois. I don't know I think it's a federal holiday. So we have to make sure that we, you don't have to go out and party or nothing, but I'm gonna do my part, and I'm gonna make sure that my intro music for the remainder of the month is gonna have a positive message. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to you, CD. Shout out to Paul Smith. Shout out to Sharks World. I know Pop Sosa didn't like that. He didn't like that choice today, that fight the Bauer. He didn't like that. Shout out to Brown Goat Logistics. Shout out to Brown Goat Logistics. Shout out to 5-Star Logistics. 5-Star Logistics. Shout out to the Inside Crew. If you don't know, listen, that's an inside thing. Get it? Inside thing. If you ain't on the inside, then you ain't gonna know. That means you're still on the outside, and the goal is to get on the inside. You dig what I'm saying? Don Sully said, you got more sponsors? Yeah, man, they tapping in with the big homie, man. They tapping in with the big homie. They know what it is. They know who pushing that needle. They know who pushing that needle. Shout out to Valise. What's going on? What's going on? Sam B, what's going on? You said that's all about design. Definitely all about design. Spoken, what's going on? All is well. Who else we got? Paul Smith said it was never celebrated. It definitely wasn't celebrated. King said it's federal. Let me see. Shout out to Dr. Teresa. Yeah, so yeah, a lot going on in the world. It's crazy that conversation that me and Pop Sosa had a few weeks ago, and my take on that situation, without going into too many details, it seemed like that's the number one topic in social media 3 weeks later. So I guess a lot of people feel the way that I feel. And it's crazy that we had that conversation 3 weeks, maybe a month ago now. And now that conversation, that debate that I had with Pop Sosa and my stance, it seems like that stance seems to be the majority. And everywhere I turn on social media, people like, listen, this ain't about fight, but it is what it is. Shout out to Pop Sosa, man. I hope you're doing good, pimp. I hope you're doing good, pimp. All right, man, let's get into this article, man. Shout out to Will. Will sent this to me in the Discord. Let me pull it up on the big screen. So shout out to him. And I read through it, and I said, you know what, this would be a good article that I could react to and read it online and kind of break it down, because it kind of coincides with a lot of the shit that I've been saying for the longest. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all post notifications. Quick thing too before we get started. Shout out to Log Rock. Shout out to Log Rock, the sponsor not of only of the show, but of the channel. So shout out to Log Rock. Make sure you guys click the link in the description to sign up or get insurance with Log Rock. I know I got a lot of veterans that watch me, so when time is up for renewal and you're shopping, don't just let your insurance renew. Every year you should shop for your insurance. Don't let your insurance just renew. Every year shop. You don't got no loyalty with nobody. Every year, 60 to 90 days, have your broker start shopping for you. Go with the best deal every year. All right. So shout out to Log Rock. All right. So boom, let's get into this article that Overdrive came out with a few days ago. Shout out to Will for sending this to me in the Discord. Trucking's TikTok generation reports harassment, but they're here for the long haul. Very interesting article. Very interesting article. Let's get through it. Shout out to all the Gen Zs. All the Gen Zs, y'all are finessers. I've been saying this, but we're going to get into it. Trucking's let me blow it up. Let's make it big. We need to make it big. Pause. Trucking's TikTok generation grew up on social media, and now that they're entering the workforce and driving trucks, it's shaping the way they think about their lives and careers, according to a recent survey report by JW Surety Bonds. The survey, which garnered responses from 212 Gen Z born between 1997 and 2012, they put wow. That just lets you know whoever wrote this article, they probably my age. Truck drivers sought to find out what's real and what's fake when it comes to trucking and posting about trucking. A quick rundown of some of the findings. TikTok or social media influence 89% of Gen Z truckers' perceptions of the industry. 89% of YNs were influenced by other people. Means they didn't go out and do none of their own research. They just went off the influence. 89% of Gen Z truckers were influenced by perceptions, not influenced by just the idea of trucking, and it could just the perceptions of the industry, with 54% saying it motivated them to pursue a trucking career. Holy cow. Goes back to what we were talking about with the music and the movies. They're going to go off what they see. If it looks good, it looks enticing, it looks entertaining, it looks fun, they're going to roll with it. They're going to roll with it. 89%, bro. 89%. That's close to that 90% of the failure rate. That's close to that 90%. That's a percent off. 69% see trucking as their long-term career, and 88% would recommend a trucking career to a Gen Z friend. 69% see trucking as their long-term career. 88% would recommend it. 95% of Gen Z truckers feel mental health is taken seriously in the industry. But 1 in 3 still report significant mental health challenges and loneliness on the road. I think that number is higher. I ain't gonna cap. We know 95% more. 95% of Gen Z truckers feel mental health is taken serious. We know that's cap. Listen, I gotta call it down the line. We gonna call now. I don't know if these are owner operators, but we know that ain't no owner operator, no trucking. It's drive. Man, ain't nobody thinking about that shit. Let's keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, even though in my business growing years, we were in a different time period. The last thing I thought about was a person's mental health or their work-life balance. I ain't finna hold you. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Listen, I need you to do this work. I need you to lift some shit. I need you to go to this 3PL. I need you to be here. I need you to be here. So I'm not sure if I believe that particular number. All right. 48% have experienced harassment or discrimination on the job. That's a high number. I believe that number. 48% have experienced harassment and or discrimination on the job. I believe it. Whether it be a woman, whether it be because of their ethnicity, whether it be because of their preferences. I don't even know the term to use for that. I'm just going to say preferences. All right? Because of their preferences and shit like that. I listen. Or it could be just confused with favoritism. I don't know if we're looking at this from an owner operator perspective or a company driver perspective or a combination of both. But there is a lot of discrimination. I think there's discrimination in everything we do. I think there's profiling in everything we do. At the end of the day, I think we all profile. You dig what I'm saying? As far as the harassment is concerned, I'm curious to know out of this 48%, what type of harassment or what type of harassment is this 48% majority women that felt like they were harassed, and harassed in what type of way? I'm really curious. 93% of Gen Z truckers glamorize the job. Now this is the important part. Listen, check this out. 93% of Gen Z truckers glamorize the job by staging their trucking experience to look better on social media.
You tweaking.
I'm gonna read it one more time. 93% of Gen Z truckers glamorize the job by staging their trucking experience to look better on social media. Finessed you. It happened during the pandemic. It's still happening now. Here's the thing about Gen Z. Take trucking out the equation. Their whole social media, whatever you call it, page or whatever, is a finesse in general. Like some of y'all that's not middle Americans, that's urban, y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all that's from the crib and from big cities, and you just a part of the culture, you already know what I'm talking about because you either know people that do it or you do it yourself. Ty in here, he 27. How many times have you heard somebody tell or you done it yourself? Because I've heard Shorty say this. Man, I gotta go get me a little fit, man. I ain't posted. I ain't posted on the gram in a few weeks. I gotta go get me a little fit so I can put up a post. I've heard dudes say it and I heard chicks say it. In my head, I'm like, shit, why you just can't post this? What the fuck you got on right now? Or what you got in your closet? Why? Because every time they post, they got to post something that's new, that's expensive, that they never posted up with before, because it gives this illusion like, yo, I'm really doing it out here. They don't just do it with trucking. That's just what they do in general. I was watching a reaction video on the channel a few months ago, and this chick was a bust down. I ain't even hold you. She was a internet Tatiana, right? But it went kind of semi-viral, and a lot of content creators in that whole red pill niche was reacting to it because it was a guy that she was digging on Instagram. She was liking all his pictures, whatever. She slid into his DM or he slid into hers, and she said that he looked like he was a money getting dude. He was always posting up with different cars, different drip, different jewelry, so on and so forth. So when they finally connected in the DM, he flew her out. Now, when she got out there, it was something totally different. He ghosted her. He hit her with a spin move, told her that his baby mama dropped his shorty off that weekend. And, that first night, he couldn't get up with her. Long story short, it was cap. It was cap. Dudes be taking pictures with their homies' jewelry. They be taking pictures with other people's cars. They be renting cars off Turo. They be renting Airbnbs. They take pictures when they finesse enough money to go get a few little fits. Because they finessing. They operating off the fraud Bible. It's all a finesse. I was talking to a chick one time, and she said she was messing with this dude, and when she finally got to the dude crib, went to the dude crib, she walked in the crib, and he had a big screen TV that was sitting on the floor, a PlayStation 5, some lawn chairs, and an air mattress on the floor. But she thought he was really balling because on the gram, he flexing the Dior, he got all the Gucci, he got the Louis, but what you don't know is a lot of that shit is swiped. They swiping. That's not money that they earn. That's not money that they had to go out and work for, that's somebody else's money. That's your money. That's money when you go into your account and you see these charges and you didn't do it, and then you got to file a dispute. Yeah, your shit then came on the dark web and they finessed you, or you were part of a breach and they got your information that way and you got finessed. But she said, man, that motherfucker didn't even have no furniture. All that shit is a finesse. That's what Gen Z does. And this is not to slight them. I'm just, for some of the older people or the people who just may be out of touch, I'm just painting the picture for you. So it's not just trucking. That's just how their generation is anyway. They make everything look bigger than what it is. So 93% of Gen Z truckers glamorize the job by staging their trucking experience to look better on social media than what it really is. And a lot of people fall for it. That's why when I be like, oh, no, it ain't really that. You can't really do this. Nah, it's not like that. Who do you see that gives me the most backlash? It's Gen Z. Oh, man, you hating. And I be like, what's the new definition of hate? How can I hate on somebody that's trying to get information that don't even got a truck? How can you hate on somebody that you got more than? I thought hate was jealous and envy. You dig what I'm saying? So when you tell them, no, what you seeing is not what it is, they don't want to hear that. You see what I'm saying? What motivated Gen Z drivers to choose a trucking career? 54% says TikTok or other social media content. TikTok or other social media content. No research. So these people weren't sitting down and said, all right, I'm 18. I'm 21, I'm 22, I'm 23, I'm 27, I'm 26. I need to start getting my life together. Let me start researching some career paths that I can go down. I don't have a college degree. I'm not college educated. So what can I do that does not require a college degree? They don't go that path. They don't go the path that we used to go back in the day, where we research career paths, and maybe if you didn't have a college degree, then the first thing you would research was vocation. Well, Mark, I know the YNs are like, what the hell is a vocation? Back then, we had vocational schools. I went to a vocational high school, right? Back then, vocation was promoted for kids or children or teenagers or young adults that weren't going to pursue college. Vocation, auto body, auto mechanics, carpentry, cabinet making or cabinetry, welding, sheet metal, horticulture. These are different vocations that if you went to a vocational high school, you would spend half of the day your junior and senior year in your vocation, because it's readying you or training you for when you get out of high school to go into that vocation, because you don't plan on going to college. The young generation doesn't research that. They go straight to social media. Matter of fact, they don't even go to social media. They already on social media scrolling every day. And then they see that one social media influencer that is, selling them a dream. Now, it ain't me just telling you it no more. Overdrive, which is a credible media source in trucking, has spent the money and done the survey and talked to a bunch of these guys. And they're telling you, the generation is telling you it themselves. TikTok and social media, more than 50%. More than 50%. Financial freedom and good pay, 37%. Independence and flexible lifestyle, 35%. Desire to travel the country, 33%. Frustration from 9 to 5 jobs, 30%. Avoiding student loan debt, 28%. Family connections or traditions, 26%. So the old way or the more traditional way, whatever is the more traditional, common sense way of what would lead an individual into a career or into an industry, is at the bottom. All the common sense shit of old that would lead us, an individual, into an industry is now at the bottom. Back in the day, your father was a cop, you were a cop. Your father was a fireman, you were a fireman. Your father was a trucker, you were a trucker. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. It's at the bottom now. Avoiding student loan debt. At the bottom. Frustration with 9 to 5. I'm indifferent on that. But that's at the bottom. Desire to travel the country and get paid. I'm going to add get paid in there. On the lower half of this spectrum. Independence and flexible lifestyle. I'm working from the bottom up. Financial freedom and good pay. TikTok and other social media is at the top. Why are you focusing on this, Mark? Because this further proves what we've been talking about. Most people are influenced, whether good or bad. Last summer, when I went on that whole thing about the stop taking cheap freight, a lot of people got mad and they missed the point, right? Everybody that places blame on people and, oh, they keep taking cheap freight and complaining on other people. Look what you're competing against. So why waste your breath? Why waste your time? Why just not focus on what you're supposed to be doing and make sure that you build a good, sustainable business? Because at the end of the day, majority of people today are influenced. They don't have a mind of their own. They're not going to go out and do what's in their best interest like you may have. So why focus on that shit? I will never get on the internet complaining about people taking this or people taking that, people taking this, because as time goes on, it's only going to get worse. People are influenced by what they see, and most of the influence is glamorized. So why waste your time? The young generation in trucking experienced a real life awakening when they entered the industry, no doubt. The younger generation, once they were influenced by some of your favorite people, once they got in, they got hit with that rude awakening. You see that a lot on the call-in show. You see that a lot on the call-in show. They got finessed. They got finessed by the finesse. Trucking social media influencers routinely glamorize the job, some making claims of quick riches. Plenty are just darn good photographers who make trucking look good. Anybody that's really been in trucking or is in trucking that's really done it, that's dealt with the ups and the downs, they're going to always keep it funky with you. Ain't nothing glamorous about it. There's nothing glamorous about it. If you OTR, you're gone. Unless you just don't have shit else, no family, and you just like living on the road, you ain't got no family, you ain't got nothing back at home that you're yearning and you're missing. A lot of people have a hard time being over the road because they're away from their loved ones. That's nothing glamorous about it. Back in the day, people used to do it because it provided a great opportunity, right? And it was a job that provided a great opportunity and a great pay, and it was a sacrifice, you know, back then. But the reward was a lot higher than it is today. If you're doing something that's more local, it's more physical. When you hear me talking about moving and final mile, you only hear me brag on the money. Ain't nothing fun about lifting heavy shit on a 90-degree summer day. There's nothing fun and glamorous about that shit. The only thing that's glamorous is the payout. No matter how much those years when I was in the field on the truck, Mark, it's a paid workout. Mark, it's a paid workout. By the second job of the day, about noon or 1, I'm like, man, forget this paid workout. Man, this shit is tough. The only thing that pushes you through it is that big payout at the end of the job. There's nothing glamorous about it. The survey ranked the misconceptions of Gen Z discovered when they started driving and found 46% feeling misled that they could quickly achieve success without experience, while 42% expected they would have total control over their schedule. 38% expected an easy work-life balance, and 34% expected high pay. A third thought the work would be physically easy and always adventurous. Good goddamn. Now, to all the Gen Z people that say, Mark, you be hating. How? Now, you can't say it no more. You couldn't say it in the first place. But now your peers are saying this shit is cap. This shit that social media portrays as far as trucking is cap, and they've even admitted to making it look glamorous when they post on their own social media pages. They say, yeah, even when we post, we make it look more glamorous than what it is. 46% felt misled once they entered into the industry. That's almost 50%. That's almost half. That they could quickly achieve success without experience. Another 42% expected they would have total control over their schedule. What do I always say? Once you start a business, let's speak from the owner-operator perspective for a second. Once you start a business, like, you have to meet the needs of the business. You work for, listen, you got to get to all the young people, even the old people that are just ignorant. Listen, when you start a business, you have no control. The business dictates the control. You have to meet the needs of the business. Remember this. You have to meet the needs of the business. If the business come calling, you go running. Yes, sir, master. Master, the business become your master. You the slave. You become a slave for your business. This is why a lot of people fail. This is why a lot of people get mad. Nigga, I was a slave for years. Anything that was on the table that was green or blue, there was a green back or a blue back, and they had a stripe down the middle of it, if it was placed on the table, I'm going to go get it. I ain't turning nothing down. Oh, Mark, you money hungry. You goddamn right. What you get in business for? If the money come calling, if the opportunity is knocking, I need that. You get mad when I say, listen, we taking food out of other people's mouth. It's business. I need it all. If it's there and it's right there and I can see it, I can touch it, it's tangible, I need to go get that. Hey, listen. I know we had reservations, but this right here, listen, they offering. If it was something that was a little minute, I'm at the point where I can turn some stuff away, babe. But man, they offering a big old bag. I gotta go get that. Morton's ain't going nowhere. Morton's will be there tomorrow. Gibson's gonna be there. Carmine's gonna be there. Don't worry about it. They'll be there tomorrow. And if we can't make it tomorrow, it's gonna be there the next day. But this opportunity is here. And if I don't take this opportunity, they're going to keep dialing and they're going to find somebody that will. I'm not letting no opportunity pass me so somebody else can take the food that was being offered to me out my mouth. I got to go get it. Ain't no such thing as a work-life balance when you own a business, especially when you own the new. You trying to build. You can get to a point where when you're in business for years and years and years, you have a clientele base. Your name is out there. You've been in business enough to the point where you have a residual clientele, and those clients are working as brand ambassadors for your company because they're referring you. So now a large percent of your business is repeat customers and referrals. You don't have to market yourself as much as you do when you're on the new. We got 70 people in here. We got 20 likes, man. See, this is, you wonder why I don't come live no more. Because the space is not the same. The space is not the same no more. It's just not the same, bro. This is why. We was having this conversation. I seen Kirk and Midwest having a conversation. I'm glad those guys were able to put their differences aside. But they had this conversation the other day. This is why your content creators get discouraged. I don't really be tripping. But, man, hit the goddamn like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Ain't no such thing as no goddamn work-life balance when you a owner. Control over your schedule. Your schedule is what the business dictates. The hell you talking about? Will, thank you for sending me this. Thank you for sending me this because it reiterates everything that I've been saying that people get mad. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop falling for the dumb shit. Mark the Ventor. Pastrana think I'm venting. I'm not venting. What am I venting? You think I'm venting? Why is it when you show a little passion when you're presenting, it becomes venting? I won already. Wait, I don't. Is that a sneak diss? I don't understand. Is this a sneak diss or is that a good thing? I don't get it because I don't the X and the check. Check it out. Either way, it ain't a vent. It ain't a rant. It's a passion. This contributes to the 90%. Y'all want to listen, bro. Check it out, pimp. Your own peers are telling you they selling you a dream and they're admitting to being sold a dream. So even though they're admitting to be sold a dream, they saying, well, you know what? I can't really post what it really is because it's going to make me look like a goofy. So I got to finesse y'all too to make it seem like I'm really out here doing it and I'm not. This shit ain't really what it is. And the business is going to always have control. Now let's look at it from the company driver perspective. You an OTR driver. I need you to be OTR. I need you to work. You in final mile. Listen, big dog. Hey, man, you know what, man, Mark, man, I'm just sore. Man, go ahead. Get to the crib, man. Go get you some Epsom salt. And stop taking them showers. Pause, man. Go ahead and soak in some Epsom salt, man. I see you in the morning, pimp. Man, I'm going to see you in the morning, pimp. Get soaking some Epsom salt. Stretch. Did you stretch this morning? Man, I don't want to hear all that goofy shit. A business owner, the only thing they want, productivity. As a business owner, from a worker, you want productivity. I need as much productivity as I can get out of you. Let me tell you what your favorite people ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. When you work for someone, whether it be a small business owner or a large corporation, they hire you for productivity. And I need to squeeze as much out of you as I can. Some days I'm gonna get more out of you than what I'm paying you. Some days you're gonna get over on me, and I'm gonna get less out of you than what I'm paying you. You gonna know, you might learn how to finesse it a little bit. Some days, it may be fair for a square. It may be straight down the line. But at the end of the day, you're hired for productivity. So either way you slice it, whether you fall on the side of the owner operator or the company driver, you're not going to have no control. Someone is either pulling the strings for you, and if you're an owner operator, a business owner, the business is pulling the strings. Get out of the mindset that you own some shit. Trick your brain. Trick your brain. You work for the business. You are a slave for the business. And if you're not meeting the needs of the business, this may be a large reason why you are struggling. 38% expect an easy work-life balance. I don't even know what the fuck that is. If you've been watching my channel for the past 3 years or some months, you've heard me say, I've never heard this term work-life balance until the pandemic. I never heard of this term before. I never heard of this term. Maybe it existed and I just wasn't paying attention. Or maybe it existed and it's just because of the way the culture has changed and people are just, the mindset is different. This term is just, it's just out there more now. I swear for God, on everything I love, I never heard of this shit before until the pandemic. The fuck is work-life balance when you a business owner? It's work, 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 more work, work again, take a nap, work, wake up, work, not physically working, thinking, strategizing, work, 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 and more work. You want work-life balance? Go get a goddamn job. Why? Because what'll happen is they're going to say, listen here. Come here. We're going to hire you. We're going to give you this opportunity. Punch in at 9, punch out at 5. And you bet not stay a minute after because we ain't giving you overtime. Matter of fact, if you punch out at 5:01, we're going to have a meeting in the HR office. We're going to have to write you up. We're going to write you up for stealing time. We're going to write you up for stealing time. All right? That go your balance. 9 to 5. So from 9 to 5, you report to work, and then from 5 to 9 a.m. the next morning, you can do whatever you want. That go your balance. You don't have to worry about the inner workings of the business. You ain't got to worry about everything that's outside of your scope of work that they hired you to. Go ahead and get you a 40-hour job, a 40-hour-a-week job. That way, that go your work-life balance. But check this out, pimp. When you come into business, it ain't even got to be trucking. The people who succeed, they don't even know this word exists, this phrase, because it's all work. You are the person who handles everything. When you're not physically doing what brings in the revenue, you behind the scenes strategizing, planning, looking for more opportunities, doing the marketing, coming up with ideas, figuring out why your LY is lower this year than last year. Why is LY down? Coming up with new strategies to hire people and retain them, getting your retention up. Not, all right, well, I'm done driving for the day. Let me go ahead and just lay down for 10 hours. Or, you know what? I'm done with this move. I'm headed home. I'll deal with tomorrow, the business, when I go do the first move tomorrow, or final mile, or building a final mile company. All right, the truck is in for the day. I'm done. Instead of going looking for other opportunities with other 3PLs, or finding out if there's other opportunities you could utilize for the truck, so on and so forth. Your day don't stop. This is the difference from a person who continues to grow versus a person who's stagnant, or a person who ultimately fails. One of the things people used to say, outside the fact when they was robbing from the sustainability of the business, when I used to do the testimonials, was that take care of home shit. And that shit wasn't just from the financial perspective, it was also from the perspective of actually being there as well. And then people like to throw, oh man, Mark, you ain't got no. Man, I don't give a. Joe, that shit ain't got nothing to do with it. You started a business. You know how many serious business owners, not everybody, relationships fail because these guys are ultimately enamored and obsessed with the business. Majority of the people that see success in business are obsessed with it. It becomes an obsession. They can't put it down. Speaking from experience. So where is this balance shit that this young generation talks about? It contributes to their failure. And I know I went on a tangent about that, but like, you got to understand that as a business owner, especially on the new, like, get that shit out your head. 34% expect a high pay. The sky's the limit with the pay. The misconception is the sky that you see, that most people see that's in Gen Z, they expect to get it with one truck. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. And that's just not reality, especially as an owner operator, because of the costs that are associated with running this type of business. A lot of people fall victim to, when they talk about the influence and being misled in this article, gross numbers. And gross numbers mean something, but a lot of people who come across this content, they don't understand the difference between gross and net. They don't understand that, there's costs that are associated with this 200 or two. When motherfuckers say 250,000 in trucking, to a person who's in trucking, that's really in it, they have tenure or they've been in it long enough, they know that that number means absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. You got people that make that money, that type of gross, and their company ain't lean. It's fat. They got cellulite fat. They got the big belly with the kangaroo pouch. They got the arm shit hanging. It's fat all over the business. They ain't running lean. So that 250 ain't shit, because they probably ain't made. It's people that make 250 that's in the red. That's upside down like a mug. Upside down like a mug. You see 250, 300, 175. Oh, I'm going to make 175. Don't know, about 30% of it is going to be fuel. You come in with a high rental. I got guys that watch my channel. They've come up on the call-in show that have been renting since the pandemic, 50, 60,000 a year on the rental. You got 100, damn near 100,000 gone right there. What we talking about? What we talking about? A third thought the work would be physically easy and always adventurous. Now, any aspect of trucking, semi truck, box truck, let's stick to box truck. OTR, final mile, moving, curb, like none of it is physically easy. Even OTR. Oh, I'm just gonna be driving. I don't think a lot of people who are ignorant, let me say this. A lot of people who are ignorant, I should say, they don't understand how physically challenging just driving is. It's physically challenging. It's physically and mentally challenging. But a lot of people don't realize that until they actually get out there. And the more you do it, the more unhealthy it becomes. And then they realize that once they get out there. There's no aspect of trucking as far as the actual work, OTR, local, whatever. It's physical. All right. Now that they're in the industry, many Gen Z truckers feel compelled to keep up appearances. Now that they're in the industry, many Gen Z truckers feel compelled to keep up appearances. So they say, like, listen, we got finesse, but we got to keep the finesse up. Yeah, it's bogus. It's bogus. But it's just not in our generation to be forthcoming. So that guy Mark, the mentor, he's an old dude. He's forthcoming, but I can't, bro, because I can't put this shit up on my Instagram, on my TikTok that's making me look like a struggle trucker. I gotta finesse it. Because it may be these chicks, these white, man. This little chick, man, I saw she just followed me the other day on my TikTok and my Instagram. She followed me on TikTok and Instagram. And I gotta keep it up, man. I gotta make it look like I'm running up a bag out here. Because when I get back home, I'm gonna slide in a DM and I'm gonna try to take her down. But if I really show her I'm a struggle trucker and then I'm sleeping on this goddamn bench, she not gonna let me take her down. This is why they putting up the finesse. They ain't listen. The dudes putting up the finesse for the Brennals, and the Brennals putting up the finesse for the sucker dudes. They putting up the finesse for the sucker dudes so they can tie it in with the goddamn OnlyFans. See, they gonna come on those social media. They ain't really checking the bag off the trucking. They checking the bag off the views because they showing you the social media while they got the little tank top with the little booty shorts. And then they make sure on the thumbnail they got their booty all in the camera and they do the stank walk. They make sure that the cameraman following their booty when they taking the hoses out, the air hoses out the semi truck, disconnecting it from the trailer. You think they just snapping those thumbnail photos? No, they're gonna get their face together, man. You gotta remember they've been on the road. They're gonna wait till they get to the truck stop. They're gonna get their face together. They're gonna get their face together. They're gonna make sure they got the filters, the right filters. They're gonna hit you with the right filters, and they're gonna make sure they arch that ass in the right angle to make it look a little bit bigger than what it is, because a bunch of lonely truckers, you gotta remember, a lot of their viewership is coming from people in the industry. A lot of these male truckers is out there on the road, they lonely, and it's a fantasy. That's why a lot of the women social media influencer truckers, the biggest ones are women. The biggest ones are women. They provide something a man can't provide. Even though men dominate this industry, the largest social media influencers in trucking are women. Out of the top 10, majority of them are women. Millions of subscribers because they know how to toot it and boot it. And there's going to be some simps, some suckers. They going to follow. They going to super chat. They going to cash app them. They going to join their OnlyFans. They not making the money in the trucking. They making the money off selling you a fantasy of a sexy woman that's in trucking. You already know how the dudes getting you. You already know how the young dudes getting you. And they telling you right here. They got finesse, so they feel like, oh, I'm going to finesse somebody else, or I got to keep up the appearances because I don't want the folks back at the crib and the people who looking at my social media to think that, I'm out here struggle trucking. I want them to think that it's lit. I want them to think that I'm lit. When really I'm trying to figure out my cost per mile and how to get to the next load. About 85% said that they felt pressure to share a polished, idealized version of trucking on social media, and 93% admitted to making their lifestyle seem better than it really is. 85% said they've felt pressure. Where is this pressure coming from? Who's pressuring you? Who's pressuring? I might drop the link, man. I might want to talk to a young Gen Z. Who's pressuring you to keep up appearances? I know, your peers. Your peers are pressuring you to keep up appearances. Here's the thing. You don't even got to post, to be honest with you. Where does it say that you even have to create a social media profile and broadcast or show your journey at all? So I don't understand where you feel compelled to keep up appearances. Why? 85% said that they felt pressure to share a polished, idealized. Who's pressuring you to finesse other people that that are currently in the situation that you once were? Who's pressuring you to make this shit seem like more than what it really is, or put out fictitious numbers, or put out this glamorous lifestyle? Where is the pressure coming from? 93% admit to making their lifestyle seem better. We already covered this earlier. Why? I think Gen Z just does that in general. I think that's just what they do in general, just even outside of trucking. But even after a perhaps rude awakening, these truckers say that they're here to stay. I know why they're here to stay. 67% said the job was better than expected. 80% said work-life balance was good or excellent. And 69% wanted to make a long-term career of it. The reason why 67% said they're going to stay on their job is because it provides them that independence. The younger generation, they don't want nobody breathing down their neck. So they rather figure this shit out, deal with whatever it is that they complaining about in the first half of this article, rather than go punch a clock and have someone tell them when and what to do. All right. What are the biggest unexpected challenges of trucking? 41% says physical health issues. I just talked about this earlier. Especially with OTR. You're constantly driving. You don't have access, I should say, to healthier food options on the road, healthier restaurants on the road. And I know this is an issue and a lot of people have been trying to solve, but that's going to be a very hard issue to tackle. That sitting in that upright position, it's strenuous on the body. A lot of people don't, with the pressure of getting from point A to point B is one thing, but you got to take time to get out that truck, stretch. If you got to do some push-ups or, walk around the truck 250 times, get those 10,000 steps in, do what you got to do. Get a Planet Fitness membership. There's Planet Fitnesses everywhere. Plan your route where you can, maybe end your day at a Planet Fitness and get a good hour in. Some core and some strength training and some cardio. Then that's what you got to do it. I understand the physical challenges that trucking presents, but this is something that an individual can rectify, or they can prevent this from happening. It's just going to take some commitment. It's going to take some dedication after a long day of driving to take your ass to the gym and work your ass out. So that right there, I get it, but that can be prevented. Long hours and chronic fatigue. There's nothing you can do about it. The job is the job. The job is the job. Safety concerns. Definitely a dangerous job. Whether it's OTR, driving, you know what I'm saying? You're dealing with inclement weather conditions, going to different parts of the country, just falling asleep, all types of shit. Even from my niche, injuries, very injury prone industry, mental health struggles. Listen, isolation can cause some mental health struggles. Sitting in that truck, looking at goddamn grass and lines in the middle of the road day in and day out, I can understand, especially if you don't have anybody that you can hop on the phone with or FaceTime with to have those conversations and maybe talk about current events and just things that are going on in the world. If you don't have that type of individual or individuals that you can constantly communicate with to kind of keep your brain, exercise, right? Having good conversations, it exercises the brain. And if you don't have that and you're just sitting in the truck and just goddamn it, looking at grass and yellow lines and white lines and black pavement and listening to podcasts all day and not without having that interaction, it can lead to mental health struggles. A lot of people that I'm coming to find out, just as time goes on, struggle with mental health. And a lot of the reason why is because they're just not mentally strong, because they're not challenging their brain. Your brain needs exercise too. And that's why I said at the beginning, one of the reasons why I like doing these shows or these podcasts, because while I'm sitting up here talking, my brain is working. I got to think what to say. I got to keep the crowd engaged. I'm planning what I'm going to say down the line. I'm looking at the chat. I'm reading this, right? I'm reacting. I'm responding to it. It's working my brain. It's exercising my brain. You dig what I'm saying? So you have to exercise your brain like you exercise the body. And a lot of OTR guys, they don't do that. That the truth of the matter is they do not do that. They just drive, listen to music or listen to podcasts and talk on the phone about dumb shit. No, you have to exercise your brain. Trouble maintaining a relationship. Now, this is something that we talk about all the time. Or I've talked about it. I know me and Kirk have done not calling shows, but wise men episodes. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Have done wise men episodes about relationships. OTR is one thing when it comes to that relationship dynamic. Being a business owner is something within itself. As an OTR guy, especially as an owner operator, you're a business owner. I think, and I've said this before, and some people have come up and disagree. You may have a different dynamic than the majority. You may have an anomaly at home, right? You may have an anomaly at home. Whereas a lot of people, and it kind of goes back to that mental thing, just, they think they have an anomaly from both ends, but at the end of the day, that separation time apart, it breaks both people down. And eventually somebody does something that they're not supposed to do. Either you're going to go out and hit a lizard, you dig what I'm saying, and get yourself in a world full of trouble, or your chick at the crib, she gonna be creeping with man. Yeah, your chick at the crib, she gonna be creeping with man. She gonna tell you she going to sleep. You gonna wonder why she called you early and told you she going to bed. She ain't never called you early and told you she was going to bed. She trying to get rid of you for the night so you don't call her because she finna go ahead and get with man. Man finna go ahead and dig them guts out. You ain't doing it, big dog. You on the road. You chasing the bag. I don't blame you, big dog. Listen, check it out, pimp. Let me come on the big screen. I don't blame you. Listen, I don't blame you. Chase the bag. You thought you had you an anomaly back at the crib, but this strength only going strong on survive. Can you go 3 months on the road without hitting a lot lizard? Can she go 3 months with you being on the road without busting it down for a real one? Man been hitting the line. He been tearing the line down. It happens, big dog. Even as a business owner, forget trucking. Goes back to what I said earlier, the obsession with building a business, the obsession with maintaining the business, the obsession with being successful in business and putting the business at the top priority level right under God. A lot of people, y'all get mad at Big Mark. Y'all get mad at Big Mark when I say that. I don't know why. It's ultimately going to affect your relationship if you don't have an anomaly or someone that's strong. Twice in the 2010s, 2 4-year relationships with 2 different women. These women don't know each other from a hole in the wall. And they both told me the same thing at one point in their relationship. Because Big Mark always going to chase the bag. The bag coming first, big dog. Fuck everything. I don't know what you talk about. Both of them said the same thing to me. I'll never date an entrepreneur again. Women, they want attention, bro. Speaking to the guys, they want attention. They want attention. They want attention. And if you are really obsessed with the business and you obsessed with that bag, you one of them ones. I got to come on the big. Because a lot of people ain't one of them ones. You think you one of them ones, but when you get tested to prove if you one of them ones or not, you fail the test every time. You fail the test. God going to test you. You fail the test every time. It's either going, listen, if a chick told you it's either her or the business, more than 50% motherfucker going to say they going to go roll with the chick. They going to roll with the chick. You going to contribute to the 90%. A lot of cats that have issues is because of motherfucking nagging them. Remember the call-in show about a month, maybe a month and a half ago? I was talking to the young boy who was struggling with the cargo van business, and the stepmom was supposedly dispatching him, right? And we couldn't even have a conversation because a chick that he said was this girl kept calling him, and it kept interrupting the feed. Y'all remember that live stream? She called him back to back. Like she would not stop calling him. And then he lied to me. I said, man, put your phone on Do Not Disturb so we continue to have a conversation. He said, yeah, I did. But then he lied because it kept getting interrupted. And I'm just like, bro, call that girl. Yeah, we got into it earlier, man. She going, bro, I'm not finna be, listen, bro, if you gonna call me a million gazillion times back to back, first, I don't want to deal with you, bro. You know I'm on the road. I'm trying to build something. I'm young. I'm trying to get to this bag, and you're fucking with me. He couldn't even have a conversation. He's struggling. He's having a conversation with an OG. If you watch that episode, that dude was desperate for information. But he couldn't even have a business conversation because the chick keep calling him. What the fuck is that? Ain't nothing that goddamn important. She gonna be his downfall. He didn't even put the goddamn phone on D&D like he said he did. You know why? Because he didn't want to. Why? Because for some reason, these young cats and these guys that really ain't one of them ones, it's like that shit turn them on. That goddamn it, what that shit called? That drama and shit. And fuck all of that, bro. I'm trying to get this bag, bro. Goddamn relationship. Toxic. Goddamn it. Toxic. Goddamn it. Drama. Fuck all that shit, bro. Chasing this bag. Loneliness and isolation. Bro, that's a part. It's lonely at the top. Why can you listen, bro? Hey, man, check this out. Listen, y'all Gen Z cats, man, I say it all the time, bro. I'm glad Overdrive came out this time. Now you can't say Big Mark hating on you no more. You can't say it. You saying this shit yourself. You saying that you got finessed by your peers, and you saying you finessing other people. Loneliness and isolation. Bro, it's lonely at, listen, let me explain. Let me come on the big screen for this. For all the young cats, that big conglomerate of friends that you had when you was in high school and grammar school that you so hard up to hold on to, once you really break out your shell and start to become the young man or the young woman who you are growing to be, that circle is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and small, because majority of people that you think is your friends ain't your friends to begin with. Mama told me that, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all mamas told you that. Nah, it ain't your friend. Mama, what you mean? Yeah, we cool. You'll find out. You'll find out soon enough. Once you start to settle in your purpose and you start to become successful, majority of your friends ain't going to see the same level of success that you're going to see, and you're going to find yourself growing away from them or them growing away from you, or it's just going to be mutual. You're going to settle with a few friends, a handful, and most people have a few fingers left over. The more successful you become, the more isolated you become, because your journey ain't everybody else's journey. Out of all my homies, I'm the only entrepreneur. The two guys that I ran with in high school, we was a trio. They still best friends today. I haven't talked to them guys. We still kicked it after high school, but after high school, I went straight to school and started working 2 full-time jobs. I got to get the money, bro. They didn't. They had more time to hang out on South Chicago back then, hang out on Stony Island. I didn't have that time, bro. So I had less time to hang. So they grew closer and I grew further apart. And by me working and going, obviously I have more money and shit like that. And eventually we just stopped communicating. But I see on Facebook, they still the best of friends. They are best friends. I haven't talked to them guys over 10, 15 years. The friends that I'm still friends with now, that's 20-year friends, is friends that they're not entrepreneurs, but they go-getters. My best friend, he worked for a trucking company. He's a company driver. He made more than a goddamn owner operator. Now, I mean, we in a different market. But when his company, when he meets the 2 required loads that he has to do a day because he's local, he can go home. But no, he works the rest of his clock by doing crosstowns. They pay him $100 for every box he runs crosstown. Just picking an empty box up at a rail yard, maybe taking it to another rail yard, bringing it back to the yard. You just call his dispatcher. Yeah, I just done with it. You got another one? Yeah, go over to this rail yard, pick up this box, take it over there. Man, I got 6-7 hours left on the clock, Mark. Man, I'm finna go do some crosstowns. It's $100 a box. He ain't trying to go home. He trying to get as much money as the clock will allow. A lot of people, I got a homie right now. Me and my other homie was just talking about him yesterday. He probably, I don't know, he might be watching. I don't give a fuck. You need to hear this shit anyway. He 3 years older than me. He's still kicking it. Every night of the week, he's somewhere. Wherever 50-year-olds go, 48-year-olds go, every night he gonna find somewhere. Leo's, President's Lounge, Francis's, Geno's, the Family Den, Leo's. If it ain't nowhere he can go, man, look, so and so and them having they watching the game. I'm gonna go so watch the game. Can't sit his ass down. He gotta be somewhere. We don't hang out no more. The more you get focused on your purpose and you start chasing that bag and you're focused on things that really matter, the more you'll find yourself to be alone and isolated. How can you get to the top without isolating yourself? Sometimes you gotta isolate yourself to focus. I don't want to be around a bunch of dumb shit at this point in my life. That's what I had my 20s for. Like, how you gonna build a business when you don't lock yourself in a den or an office or in a room and focus? And then the person who does that and starts to see levels of success, I swear to you, you're going to start seeing your circle get smaller and smaller and smaller. The saying is lonely at the top. It's just not a saying. It's a saying for a reason because it has a meaning, because it's true. You're going to deal with the hate. Some of y'all can't deal with no hate. And if you ain't dealt with no hate, you ain't doing shit. And it ain't going to come from outsiders. The moment you start seeing levels of success, it's going to start coming from the people within your inner circle, or what you thought was your inner circle, which is going to further or, contribute to the loneliness, because you're going to start removing yourself from certain people. So you mean to tell me y'all quitting because you lonely? That's a person with a weak mind. Listen to something educational. Listen to an audio book while you driving. You can't keep yourself company. It's so much shit out here that you can do while you're driving. It's so much shit that you can listen to outside a little baby. Oh, who's hot right now? Who's hot? Who's hot right now? Kendrick. Kendrick is a little prolific. Who else? Who's hot? That's a goddamn it. that ain't talking about shit, but it just sound good? Who's the hottest nigga that ain't talking about shit, but it sound good? Can somebody tell me who's the hottest right now in that demographic that ain't talking about shit, but it sound good? Is it still Lil Baby? Is it still Little Baby? It's other shit to listen to than Little Baby. Listen to you some good. It's some good podcasts out here that's educational. And I ain't talking about like some of the ones, your favorite ones. I'm talking about some educational shit. I'm gonna give you a good one. It's not $1 million worth of game. There's a podcast called My First Million. Listen to that one. That's a good business, educational podcast. Just listen to it while you're driving. My First Million. It's so many things and so much technology that you have today that's accessible to you versus a trucker from 2 decades ago to keep yourself occupied. That's why they used to talk on the CB back in the day. Like, you can listen to educational shit. Like, there's no reason you should be quitting, and it should be challenging to be fucking lonely. You're going to be isolated and you're going to get lonely because it's lonely at the top. So if loneliness is a problem, well, don't be successful. Because the more successful that you get, especially if you from a place like where I'm from a place where I'm from the land of haters. Just don't do it. Lack of career support from employers. Trucking is not one of those careers like when you work for a company. It's not like one of those careers. This is a company thing right here. It's not like one of those careers where the company is invested into your growth and your future. Why? Because you're at the ceiling already. You at the ceiling. I come in as a company driver. Where do you go from there? A trainer? And then that's it. You're at the ceiling at the beginning. If you go work for, I don't know, a company. I'm just not gonna think of just a company. You can come in as an account exec, and then you can go up to a senior account exec or a lead account exec. Then you may go up to a senior account exec. Then you may go up to vice president of account executives, and then you may go to senior vice president. So so when you get hired in a company like that has room to grow, they'll invest more time and more money into training you to grow, because it's better to hire within than to hire from outside. It's better to hire within. What growth do you have as a goddammit trucker? So when I see this right here, this goes back to just a lack of understanding business. Like, I would never as a trucker think I'm going to get support. Why would they care about me when there's nowhere for me to go? It's nowhere for me to go. You are a number. You listen to me. And if it's hurting your feelings, listen, this is not my intentions, but we just keep it a buck over here, because we're not Gen Zs. I'm a Gen X. All right. So I'm going to keep it a buck, because they telling you it's all about the finesse. This is the Gen Z people admitting to this about the finesse. Listen, there's nowhere for you to go. So you're not going to get that kumbaya. Come into the human resource office. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about let's do a review and see how you're doing. And maybe we can give you a 3% raise. Ain't none of that. We don't have to invest into your future because there is no future. Your future is just driving. And then as the cents per mile goes up, as time goes on, or the cost of living increase, that's all you gonna get. This is why you see so many drivers seat hopping. That's why the term seat hopping exists, and that's why you see more of it now than ever before. Inconsistent pay or financial insecurity. From an owner-operator perspective, there's a lot of uncertainty in business. Something else we talk about all the time because we're transparent, because we're older, and we don't care. We're from a generation where we don't care about what you think. Like the Gen Z, I always say these Gen Zs, they care about what you think. I'm too old. Listen, it's business. It's uncertainty. You want more of a certainty? Become a wolf and take your shit. Y'all get mad when I say, man, Mark, why you so? No, because this is what business is. When shit starts to go down, like most businesses do, you have different markets and different times of the year. Then we got to go above and beyond to keep our numbers up. And if that requires me, turning my bully up, then that's what I got to do. It's business. Even if the pay is consistent and you're working on a consistent, you have the revenues coming in, it's consistent, an unforeseen situation may occur, and that may set you back. These are things that you deal with as a business owner that you don't have to deal with when you punch a 9 to 5. When you punch a 9 to 5, you're only responsible with whatever they give you that's within the scope of your work. Anything outside of that is not your problem. When you run a business, everything is your problem. A lot of people ain't ready for that. They can't handle it. They not one of them ones. Like the lady 2 years ago when I was coming, Mark, so you mean to tell me if my son was in a 3PL and you were there, you would take advantage of him because he wouldn't know what he was doing? Remember who was watching the show back then? And what did Big Mark say? I said, I absolutely would. Well, I'm going to unsubscribe to your channel. I'm like, lady, this is a hypothetical, but I'm telling you the truth. Like, this is business. Like, I'm not finna, like, we might see each other in the morning. I might hit him with the pound and say, what's up, man? How was your weekend? But if buddy get caught slacking and the opportunity is there, I got to have that. You know why? Because he'll do it to me. A real hustler will do it to me. No friends in business. What are you talking about? Don't leave no food on the table around me. I'm telling you, I'm not bullshitting you. It's not safe. I gotta have it. I'm scraping the plate and I'm licking. Mama said, don't lick the plate. It's more in the refrigerator. Listen, when it comes to business, I gotta have it all and I'm licking the plate. I'm not leaving nothing on the table. For situations like this, when uncertainties arise, I want to make sure that when the opportunity presents itself, I'm getting everything. Because there's going to be a time where, you know what? Some type of economical downturn. So all the time when money was flowing, instead of me taking advantage of all those opportunities, when the money was flowing and prevalent and I should have been working, I worked a little bit and turned up the rest. I worked a little bit and turned up the rest. I worked a little bit and turned up the rest because I thought this shit was always going to keep coming like this. No. When opportunity presents itself, when that faucet is on and that shit flowing, you take it all because eventually that faucet it's going to get turned down to a goddamn dribble. And then once that motherfucker stop dribbling, it's going to get turned all the way off. And it ain't going to be, you're going to be looking up in the goddamn faucet with your mouth open, hoping the goddamn water come out that motherfucker. And ain't shit going to come. But when the opportunities presented themselves and that faucet was flowing, You got as much of that water as you could without wasting any of it, not let any go past you for days like that. See, Gen Z, y'all don't know that. A lot of y'all grew up in a generation where, you know, you were sheltered, you were part of the generation where the parents, babied you and they didn't want you to go through the struggle that they went through. And I get that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this is the downside of that. You don't know how to get it. You don't understand how to decipher that when opportunity presents itself, you take it. You turn up later. You don't leave shit on the table. Nothing. Because there will come a time when that faucet get turned off and you're going to wish you took advantage of every single opportunity when it presented itself to you. Despite a whooping, 48% reporting harassment or discrimination on the job. These do not appear to be entirely fragile or snowflake type workers. The article said fragile or snowflake. He said these do not appear to be entirely fragile or snowflake type workers. So they saying the 48% reporting harassment or discrimination on the job ain't soft. They not considering them some soft people. That means the person who wrote the article, they went into detail saying, you know what, let's see if these motherfuckers just complaining just to be complaining, if they just soft and they complain about some soft shit. They saying they don't appear to be fragile or snowflake workers. A huge majority, 95%, said that the industry took mental health seriously, with just 20% saying that they constantly feel loneliness on the job. 1 in 3 know that they have faced significant mental health struggles. Listen, bro, check this out. That lonely shit, if you're an OTR guy, I don't know what did you expect? Don't be successful because I'm going to tell you it's lonely at the top. It's lonely at the top. If you can't deal with sitting in the truck by yourself all day, then just go find a job where you got coworkers and you can have coworker outings and retreats and all that shit, bro. If you're an OTR guy, you're going to be lonely, period. The other lanes like the solo, the final mile moving, goddamn it, final mile local curbside, you're more in a metropolitan environment. So you're getting in and out, you're communicating with people throughout the day. So that's a little bit different. So this is pertaining primarily to an OTR guy, whether it be an owner operator or a company driver. Bro, find something to do. Listen to some educational shit. That's it. The reason why your mental health is declining is because you're not exercising your brain. Your brain needs exercise too. If it becomes complacent, it becomes weak. And check this out, big dog. Check it out. And I'm going to keep it a buck with you. That's cool too. Everybody can't just be mentally strong because the shit wouldn't work right. We need some people to be weak. So with me telling you that, which side of the equation you want to fall on? You want to fall on the predator or you want to fall on the prey? Because it's competitive. The weak individual, the person who is mentally struggling because they're not exercising their brain, you are the prey. You are the person who's getting taken advantage of every which way, 40 going north. You are the person who don't know their cost per mile because you don't want to take the time to sit down and figure the shit out. You are the person who's struggling because you didn't take time to understand what you was investing in. You are the prey. The time that you take to put these goddamn TikToks together and constantly do them over. I be driving down the street. I be going places and I be seeing people in the middle of just places and shit. They steady doing the routine. They got somebody holding the phone or they leaning the phone up against the goddamn building and they doing some goofy ass dance and then they stop and then they look at it and then they missed a step or they did something wrong. Then they go set the phone back, lean it up against something and do the same shit. The time that you take to do that goofy shit, that repetitiveness and that goofy dumb ass shit, invest that same time into your business. There's nothing mentally, That shit doesn't mentally strengthen you. You know why I be dropping the link and be antagonizing debates? Because I know I'm mentally strong. I'm not worried about whoever. Because my mind ain't complacent. I can't allow it. That's why when you see people get older, they start to develop dementia, Alzheimer's, and all that shit. Because they get old, they get retired, and they get complacent. No. Find you something to do that's educational. While you driving, then you don't have to deal with these mental health struggles. That 1 in 3 figure compares to 42% of Gen Z broadly reporting a mental health diagnosis. Like, why are y'all so young? That's what I'm saying. This TikTok shit, bro. 42% Gen Z mental health? Jesus Christ, bro. Maybe trucking attracts the toughest members of Jesus. Whatever the case, there was some worrying figures that came out of the survey results. Just about a third of respondents reported rarely or never feeling unsafe on the job, while 14% said that they felt unsafe. We already know who this 14% is. That's women. A lot of women said they don't feel safe. Otherwise, Gen Z's concerns seem to have merit. Respondents worried most that we all do about what we all do: money, long hours, physical health. Does this seem right to you? If you're a Gen Z truck driver or owner operator, get in touch. There you go. Dunbeezy said you've been lied to. Yeah, by your own peers. Your own peers said that y'all lied, or that they was lied to by their own peers, and they said, you know what? Even though we was lied to, we do the same thing and we glamorize it and we make it look more than what it really is too. We're not any different. We're not any different. That was a great article. Shout out to Will for sending that to me. Shout out to Will for sending that to me. I appreciate it. That was a great article. I like reacting to educational shit like that. Let's see if we can get one Gen Z on to call in. Let me see if I can get one Gen Z to call in, just to have a conversation, man. Let me look at a few of these comments. How long we been on? An hour and 46. Damn, it's been an hour and 46 minutes. It's 4 o'clock. Shit, I've been cooking. Man, I cooked for an hour 46. It seemed like an hour and 46 minutes. Shit, I might not. They call it buried treasure for a reason. He summarized why I run 7 nights. It's plenty of opportunity and money. You just have to put in the effort to find it. As a company driver, you have to look to specialize. I only drop on curb for my company. I leave my number with customers to come back after work and weekend to set up the install. Tons of growth and opportunity here. That's right. Shout out to BBM. You said you turn on some Payroll Giovanni and get in that mode. Who's Payroll Giovanni? Y'all say Boss Man D'Lo, who everybody listen to. MIG said Mark on his bag, spitting truths. Man, dog, like, it is what it is. You said don't tell me about the gun line. I went to the gun line the first time for my cousin's birthday. That's right there off of the Kennedy, right off of Lake and Union. That's right there on the corner. That's right there on the corner, ain't it? You talking about the bar club gun line? It's right there on Lake and Union. All right, the link is pinned to the top of the chat. Any Gen Z want to come up and kick it for a minute? If not, I think, man, my work is done. Y'all Gen Zs, y'all been finessed by your own people. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on all post notifications. I saw that, William. I saw that. Actually, I'm on. That's next. But the guy who Candace got working for him, he's never been a trucker, and I think that was a lot of research, and that's why he couldn't really go in depth from. I saw that. I saw that, and I don't believe that. It's believable, but like I don't think he vetted that out. I don't think he vetted that out because I saw that. I actually listened to that because it was like 58 minutes. I listened to the whole thing Sunday, and I may react to that. I did catch that episode. I did catch that episode. You said, yeah, them box truck owner operators be capping online, seeing like they getting paid more online than they actually are doing the practical work. Yeah, at once upon a time, that was the case. I don't think it's like that now. For a few people, it is. The ones that are successful at selling products that have successfully been able to market themselves and put themselves in the upper echelon of influencers in these different trucking niches. But for the majority that come in that try to do it nowadays, that gravy train is over with. Only the ones that got in during the pandemic that have been able to sustain that influence are really making money. That's why you see so many influencers come into this industry, the box truck industry. They'll do a few videos and then they'll go. Even the ones that are still here, it's like intermittent. They'll come, they'll get discouraged, and then they'll leave for 6-7 months, and then they'll come back, they'll leave, and they'll come back, because they're looking at doing this for an added stream of revenue. But it's like I tell people, like, yo, you ain't even did research on content. Like, you're doing box truck content. Like, what makes you think? Like, where do you think this overabundance of revenue is going to come from in a very, very, very small niche? Very small. It took 3 years for my channel to get sponsored, of consistent putting out content at my cost. A lot of people aren't going to put out content and develop content at a high quality for a long period of time. They're just not going to do it. And this is not a niche. This ain't like a red pill niche. Something that's popular, that's going to continuously be popular, or current events or urban culture where you can just react to shit like the Diddy trial, or you can react to like red pill shit and all the dumb shit, like the shit that was going viral last week with the chick who, like, everywhere I went, I seen that shit. The chick who was like, man, women, take a man with you to when you go get your car fixed. I went and I had my car in the shop, and the man told me I needed a Cadillac converter. What I need a Cadillac converter for? I got a Jeep. Just dumb shit like that. Like, if you react to dumb shit like that, you're going to get views. You're going to make revenue. What I need a Cadillac converter? I drive a Jeep. Dumb shit like that, you're going to always have a plethora of content that's going to do hundreds of thousands of millions of views. But this article right here proves that people that are coming into business, the things that they should do from an educational perspective or an educational standpoint, they don't do it. They just follow what the next person is doing. Social media influence. They follow influence. These are the numbers. These are the statistics. 54% said they were TikTok or social media influenced 89% of Gen Z's truckers' perception of the industry, with 54% saying it motivated them to pursue truck. 50 or more than half. More than half said it motivated them to get in. 89% said they were influenced by the perception. Not the fact that they went out and they did the research. Influence based on the perception. So with knowing that, it's just like I was telling these somebody, you're gonna get from a box truck content. Nothing. If you're not doing it primarily solely for the purpose of just creating content to just put the message out, then if money is your angle, you're not going to get it in this niche. It's too small of a niche. to do it. The people that are, they're selling it from products, and the women that you see over on TikTok, you know what they selling. You dig what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Did we pin that link for any Gen Z? Ty, you don't want to come up and tell your story? Since you like to call up for dumb shit. See, you'll call up for dumb shit like Drake and shit like that, but you won't call up to have a educational conversation. Ty, you part of the Gen Z, come speak up for them. Many people in the society, adults and youth, can't read functionally. Research is a challenge. That's unfortunate. And I heard they took cursive writing out of the school. You know what's funny that you said that? I've been watching a lot of streamers lately. After that streamer university thing, I've been really paying attention to that because I was that was kind of dope how they set that up, and it was actually ingenious. And I remember I was watching the part where Kai was reading the achievements. He couldn't read. Basic words, not words that were very hard. He had to get the person who was standing next to him to tell him like basic words. He can't read that well. So you're right. A lot of the young generation, they can't read. And I saw that with him. I'm like, bro, this dude can't read. Words that you can easily sound out, he couldn't get. He's up there with, I think it was like 300,000 or 400,000 people watching live at that time, and he's struggling with second grade words. So you're right. And and that presents a problem. So when you think about automation, when you think about AI, now I'm looking at it from a different lens. Yes, you have the idea of people not wanting to work, but is this generation and the next generation going to be qualified enough to do these basic tasks? Because they lack comprehension and they lack critical thinking skills. So it's more to it now. When I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, yo, would I want to put one of these people behind a machine that could cut their arm off or cut their leg off or slice them in half? Or can they read the label? Bro, I watched that man struggle with a 500,000 people watching live, struggle to read basic words. Yeah, that's a problem, bro. It's a problem. It's a problem. All right. We know your Gen Zer is very, very, very smart, Pippi. We know you wouldn't have it any other way. Sub box truck Buddha. All right. I don't think we're gonna get any Gen Zs. I think we did what we came to do. You say you found yourself in the basement office from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day last week working on my grant proposals and business plan. That's what it takes. You said, why I ain't still listening to NBA Youngboy? I actually heard something last week that NBA Youngboy is the most influential artist of this current generation. Even with him not having any radio success, right? He is the most influential artist of the current generation. So even with that being said, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. All right, this was a very good topic today. I appreciate Will once again. Thank you for sending that to me. Great, man. If you guys find any other things that you want me to go over, read, react to, feel free to send them to me in the Discord, or DM them to me. And I'll read over them. If it's something that's good enough that we can break down, I'll do it on the channel. The chat GPT moment with Daniel sealed it. Having AI think for them will be Gen Z Alpha's downfall. I agree. I 100% agree. And when he said that day, I think my reaction said it all. And like, critical thinking skills are on the brink of going out the window. Like, when people got to go, and I hear, I went to Chat GPT, or I went to Chat GPT for this. I went to Chat. Like, I'm starting to hear that more and more in passing. Well, Chat GPT said that, man, I don't give a fuck what Chat GPT said. Where is your critical? You're going to have no critical thinking skills, because there are going to be times when you're going to be presented with a situation, a real situation, that Chat GPT ain't going to have the answer for, or you're not going to be able to go in your pocket, pull out your phone, and ask Chat GPT what to do. Chat GPT, I just met this lot lizard. Should I hit her? Chat GPT, buddy got a thoink pointed at me. Should I take it from him? Should I try to fight him, or should I just give it up? Hold on, buddy. I know you robbing me right now, but let me go in and ask Chat GPT if I should try to, like, fight you, or if I should just, run, or if I should just oblige with you. Give me 1 second. I know. Just lower it for a second. Give me 1 second. Chat GPT. Someone is trying to rob me right now. What should I do? Chat GPT. I had spaghetti for dinner last night. I don't know what to eat tonight. What you think? Chat GPT. My girl ain't answering the phone. Do you think she cheating on me? Chat GPT. I can't take it no more. I'm just gonna do it. You think I should stick around a little bit longer? Oh, you go to Chat GPT for everything, bro. Chat GPT. I don't got no game, and this chick on Instagram, I want to slide in her DM, but I really don't want what to say. Chat GPT, can you write a 2-sentence phrase for me for this girl, but make it so that she responds and don't leave me on red? Give me some good shit to say, because I don't know what to say. Man, I wish I would go to a Chat GPT. You ain't gonna have no critical thinking skills. None. That dude said, I go to Chat GPT for everything. You're gonna be lost in the sauce. It's gonna be a slicker. One of them guys, and they're gonna take advantage of you. Rely on Chat GPT for everything. You're gonna get taken advantage of. It's going to be the individuals from the young generation that carry themselves and go about way of the generations of old are going to be on the top tier in the next 10, 15 years. The ones that rely on artificial intelligence to think and do the decision making for them, those are going to be the people who are going to be reliant on that shit. And they now going to know if they coming or going. And they going to always be behind. Because that individual that's able to think on his own, he's going to beat them 40 ways going north. That's what it is, bro. So at the end of the day, what was that question Daniel asked? What was the question Daniel asked? I don't know. You gotta go back and watch the episode. I still got more Daniel content too. I gotta put out. I got more Daniel content too. I gotta put out. All right, what time is it? It's 4:30. All right, y'all. This was a good live. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Until the next time. Peace.